Barry, Optimize. Tell us about your company and what it is you do.
Yes, Jade, Optimize is a company that focus on developing the performance of people. If you're talking about excellence in anything, it's about the processes that people use and about the quality of the people. So at Optimize, we really hone in on the people skills and the way they communicate, the way they get things done, and the way they interact with each other.
In terms of your work with youth, could you talk to us about that?
Yes, for youth work is a main feature of the Optimise programs. For about 8 years I ran the national program for Triathlon New Zealand, developing youth. And the issue around that was that you could only impact on a small number of people in any given time frame. So from that, I with a colleague wrote a youth leadership program, which is a holistic program really about getting young people to think about where they may want to end. The old adage that if you don't know where you're going, you will end up somewhere, but it may not be where you want it to be. So the whole program is a 2-day program based around allowing young people to have more self-awareness about where they want to end up in their life.
Can you tell us about young people and goal setting and what the common issues are for young people?
Yeah, that's a good question you raised, because I do a lot of thinking around goal setting and ponder why at times the traditional goal setting matrix doesn't work for people. And I think my own view on it is that I think the SMART goal, where goals have got to be specific and measurable, achievable, realistic and time related, is a process for goal setting. And a lot of people have that forced on them or told by teachers, coaches, parents that you must set goals. But what's missing from that matrix is the actual emotional commitment to make the goal a reality. So without that commitment, the goal is meaningless. And I spend a lot of time with young people particularly relating or combining the goal with the commitment that they personally bring.
Okay, so motivation, how does that tie in, and how do you develop that? Because goal setting would be a big challenge in itself, but motivation, how do you tackle that in your work?
I think that the two are interrelated. If you're not motivated to do something, it comes back to that commitment that I was talking about in terms of goal setting. With anybody, but particularly with young people, I think the key is finding out what they're passionate about, what they're really striving to achieve. And once you can hit on with a young person what they're passionate about, what gets them out of bed in the morning, then everything else flows off that. Their time management, their balance, their ability to cope, their resiliency, their mental toughness, it all hangs off what gets them out of bed in the morning. And I think, sadly, in some cases in New Zealand now, there's too many young people who lack that actual focus and direction for a whole variety of reasons.
Would it be fair to say a lot of young people enjoy the comfort zone of doing what they know how to do? It might not be very much, but would that be a fair statement?
Yeah, I think there's certainly an element where people don't like to be pushed beyond their comfort zone. So challenging them beyond their comfort zone or beyond what they think they're capable of doing. One of the things that we try to install into young people through the Optimise Future Leaders program is creating self-awareness of who they are, where they are going and who they want to be. From that leads into self-belief, because if we don't believe in ourselves, well then why should anybody else believe in us? And from that stems the confidence to actually make it happen. So those three, self-awareness, self-belief and confidence, are key ingredients of the Optimise Future Leaders program.
Where does your passion for young people come from?
Well, I'm still young myself, of course, but I don't know, I just find the energy that young people have and the enthusiasm that they bring to workshops is different than what I see in adult workshops. So we have a lot of fun, we have a lot of laughs, and it's great seeing young people develop.
Tell us about your work with the Voyager Leadership Program and how that came about.
Yeah, that was an exciting thing we did last year, because I had done a little bit of work with Cameron at the Yes Centre through the Carabiner program, and then we got talking and decided that wouldn't it be neat to integrate a youth leadership program with able-bodied people, combining with people with disabilities, young people. And so we did a program as part of the Voyager leadership program in December, where it was a full-on 2-day workshop, and we had, I think it was 16 to 18 young people there across all sections of the community, and it was really great to see the interaction between those with disabilities and those without, and the way it all came together and the sharing of ideas. So it's a model that we are actually keen to continue and to perhaps grow around New Zealand, because it's got great scope integrating people.
Yeah. One question that's just come to mind, it's a really good one. Are there any differences between the goals and asking? It's really difficult. I'll get it out first.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you: is there a difference between the aspirations of disabled people and non-disabled people?
I can't answer that for sure, but I don't think there needs to be. I see people not achieving who are quite normal and could achieve, and it's very sad. Equally, I see people with disabilities achieving hugely, like yourself, like Cam, Natalie. So it's a mindset. It's not physically or mentally how you are. It's a mental mindset of what you actually want to get out of your life, and anything's achievable. You know that. You're doing it.
Thank you.
So in short, no. It may be more challenging to achieve some of the goals, but anything's possible.
Okay. So I understand you have a background in elite sport. How does that tie in with the work that you're doing now?
I'd always had a dream to be an All Black. That never happened. But I did go to the World Triathlon Championships as an age group athlete. And from that, I developed as a coach within triathlon. So at a level where I went to World Championships as a coach manager for the elite New Zealand team. And then from there, I was fortunate to get a job as the chef de mission for the New Zealand Youth, Olympic and Commonwealth Games teams. So for that, I went to India, to Pune with Daniel Loda in 2008, and in 2009 to the Sydney Youth Olympic Festival. And during that time, just hanging around with people like Mahi Drysdale, Daniel Loda, you learn just so much. And the interesting thing is that the attributes that make these people successful in sport can be carried over just to normal life and to business. So everything sort of wraps into a tidy package for me.
All right. Barry, could you tell us about your involvement with Think One Team?
Yes, Jade. Think One Team is an Australian business consultancy. Graham Winter, who drives the program, also has a sporting background, and his philosophy is about getting people working together better across they call it alignment across boundaries. So it's people, whether it's in business or in sport or in family life, connecting and communicating with everybody in their life and on their radar. And it's a very powerful program just that enhances the ability of teams to work better together. So it applies in a youth sector, a sporting sector and a business sector. It's a very exciting program.
Right.
And we're looking to launch that seriously in New Zealand later in 2011.
So Barry, if someone was thinking about getting in touch with you, what kind of people do you work with in a youth sense?
People, parents of teenage, the youth, the Optimised Future Leaders program is aimed primarily at 16 to 20-year-olds. So parents of people in that age group can get in touch with me via my website, www.optimizepdg for Performance Development Group.co.nz. My email is barry@optimizepdg.co.nz, or they can call me 021 9777 31. Young people also can just come to me directly.
So Barry, do you have any final thoughts or a message for the people of YouTube?
Yeah, my message, I guess, for today, particularly with youth in mind, is to strive to control your own destiny, because if you don't, somebody else will, and it may be to your disadvantage.
Barry, thank you so much for coming in today.
Pleasure, Jade. Thanks
you.
for the opportunity.
Awesome.